everyone, what's going on? Welcome back to my channel. This week I'd love to share with you me redoing all of my septic pipes from my tiny house to the big house. Now most of you guys do know that I will be renting my tiny house out Airbnb. It was suggested by the Airbnb community that I replace my composting toilet with a regular flush toilet. This meant that all of the work the original company did had to go to waste because I had not used the septic yet and I had to have bigger pipes installed. I did reach out to that original company again to see how much their quote would be, and it was 4 times the amount as it was the first time. So needless to say, I did not go with them, and instead I hired a company called Elite Plumbing Solutions. I'm going to be leaving their information in the description below so that if anybody in the West Tennessee area has any plumbing or septic issues they need handled, I highly suggest giving these guys a call. This team did this in 2 days, so we're going to get to the video because there's a lot to cover. Now, when the guys first arrived, this was maybe a week before they started, but I needed to get a quote. And so they came over, checked out everything that I had going on, gave me my quote, and also mentioned a couple other things that needed to be fixed on the tiny house. We also decided to go ahead and replace the water heater because there was a lot of black sludge that was coming out when they tried to flush it. Although a water heater can be flushed and sanitized and cleaned out, I didn't have to know how to do that, so I just went ahead and replaced it, especially after a good amount of time that I haven't been using it, so that stuff was gathering up. Unfortunately, I did not get a video of the black sludge coming out, but it happened for a good 5 minutes where it was just thick black sludge coming out of my water heater. We did end up replacing that with another 19-gallon water heater. The outside hydrant on my tiny house also did not work, so that was in the quote for that to be replaced as well. When the team came back, the first thing they did was they unwrapped the new toilet on the front lawn in front of my tiny house and got all the pieces and parts ready and together. That was the very first thing that they did, was they took out the composting toilet and they put my new flush toilet in there. In my original plans, I asked Incredible Tiny Homes to make my toilet interchangeable just in case I wanted to do a regular flush toilet. Well, they only added that pipe for a regular flush toilet, but they did not add 3-inch pipe on my tiny house. They only installed a 1.5-inch pipe or 2-inch pipe because they knew I was only going to be using gray water. However, I did request that toilet was interchangeable to be used as a flush toilet later on, but they just did not do that. I was disappointed to find out that they made another mistake. I had to pay some more money to get that fixed. After the compost toilet was taken out of the house, they wrapped it in plastic wrap and we put it in storage. That will be ready for me to put back in and replace them out once I do move back into the tiny house. Next step they worked on was hooking up the new water heater. They took the old one out, drained the rest of it on the ground. Although the day that they had come to do the quote, the black sludge was coming out. Once they flushed all of it, there was clear water coming out, but then they had waited a couple days before they came back to start. We tried to flush it again and there was still some gray matter in there. I'm glad that I got it switched out. The team did say that they thought that they could put a bigger size water heater in there, but after measuring it and then checking the measurements at the store on the bigger water heater, come to find out I was a couple inches too short inside there, so we had to stick with a 19-gallon water heater instead of the 30 that they were going to put in. One of the things that they did differently was they didn't use the outside in spout for the water to go into my tiny house. So they put a hole in the bottom of that little storage box that the filters used to be in for the water reclamation system, and they connected it to the pipes inside there. This is all, of course, interchangeable. In case I do want to use the outside spout again, then some handles can be turned. Other pipes need to be added for that to all work back the way that it was. After the water heater went in, they replaced the outside hydrant. Now, I am not sure why this outside hydrant with the water going out has not worked for about 1.5 years. When I was in the campground, I had some work done at my tiny house. I had the water reclamation system taken out, was able to divert it and use it as a regular water system. Not the system that Incredible Tiny Homes put in, but just converting it to regular city water. For some reason, the water spout has not worked since then. I had to have that replaced this time around, and finally I have water that goes out. One of the things that this is going to help is that I could attach a 200-foot hose to the front of my tiny house, and that could possibly reach my wildflower gardens, because the regular source is all the way over by the garage. It's a good thing they got that working. It has not been working for the longest time. I am really grateful for that. Underneath the house, they were also replacing all of the pipes that were under there, but first they had to take off all of the insulation that the builder had sprayed under there. Now, I think one of the reasons why they sprayed the pipes on the outside was because they knew that I was living in Illinois at the time. That's what was to help insulate the underneath. But now that I'm in Tennessee, all of that underneath insulation isn't needed anymore. The guys and the team worked at chiseling all of the insulation off. There was a huge mess under there because there was just so much insulation, that spray foam stuck on all of the pipes that they had to get to replace. Once they got all of that cleared out of there, they were able to attach some 3-inch PVC pipe and I believe 2-inch coming from the shower and the kitchen sink, because they were supposed to be that size to begin with. But that's another thing that I found out that Incredible Tiny Homes did wrong, was that all of the pipes underneath the house should have been at least 2 inches, and some of them were not. They were 1.5 inches. They had connections facing the wrong way, tons of them. They had them facing the back of the house. That's why I was having a lot of clogs. So I learned a lot during this installation of the new septic lines through this new company. So now my shower and kitchen sink have 2-inch pipe and my bathroom toilet has 3-inch pipe. Now all of this is interchangeable with a composting toilet. The 3-inch pipe, the whole reason for that is so that toilet paper can be flushed down. That's one reason why the sink in the kitchen and the shower in the bathroom didn't need a 3-inch pipe, because there's going to be no toilet paper going down there. After the under the house pipes were done, the trencher started to dig up the old pipe and remove it, put it to the side to make a big enough and deep enough trench for this 3-inch pipe to be laid across the whole thing down to the big house septic. They pretty much went the same line as the original company did, and we ended up, I think, digging a little bit deeper because the pipes are a little bit bigger. The pipes they had installed were, I think, 2-inch. Now that's going to be raising a little bit to 3-inch, so they needed to have it big enough and deep enough in order for this pipe to fit in there. I do like how they took the same route as before and they didn't make any new divots in the road or in the land. They just followed that same path that the original company did, so that it was kind of easier to get to the pipe. They had already laid down where the pipe was going to go, and they just needed to create that fall in order to get to the big septic tank. As the trencher moved closer to the big septic tank, they did hit a big metal box. To be quite honest with you, now we don't know if that's the septic tank because it was only 3 feet by 3 feet. We discovered this box. There was this like metal or maybe plastic handle on there that was broken, but there was like dirt in there. We don't know what that is to. They were trying to make sure they had a big enough fall from the tiny house to the big house. I mean, they did did make it and we went past that big metal box, but I don't know what that metal box is. It could be the septic tank, but we don't know because it's really small. I don't know what else it could be, but here are some pictures. Maybe you can see, help me figure it out. But we covered it all back up. When I go to get my septic tank flushed out, I don't know where the septic tank is, but I'm assuming it's somewhere in that area. Maybe that company can figure it out for me and tell me where my septic tank is, because I still don't really know. Now we have discovered the other pipes coming from the mobile home and going into the septic. He connected all three of the pipes together and then proceeded to push all of the dirt back into the trench that they just dug. I still do have a clean out spout over by my tiny house, but they kind of reconfigured the way that the original company did it. The original company actually had it protruding out more. It almost seemed like a trip hazard. This one is a little bit better because it kind of slants inward and it's closer to the foundation as opposed to sticking far out. I still do have this clean out spout. That is a good thing to have on this. When I go to put more of my wraparound deck around the tiny house, I'm going to be putting a little access door by that clean out spout area so that if any work needs to be done or if I need to get in there, then all I have to do is open this access door and get to the plumbing and then close it back up so that it's not in sight. Like last time, there was a bunch of roots left sticking up out of the ground. Another thing that I was not aware of was that that blue pipe that the original company installed for the water going into my tiny house also needs to be insulated. Not just the white PVC pipe that they connected to the underground that was sticking out, but the blue pipe that they connected from that PVC pipe to the inside of my house. They informed me that all of that needed to be insulated because it could freeze. It's just a harder pipe to break. I let them use one of my insulating tubes and they insulated it for me. I really enjoyed working with this company. They allowed me to film them and take pictures of basically the whole process. I would highly recommend this company if you are in the West Tennessee area. I don't know how far they go out. I'll put their phone number and their information down in the description. If you need any plumbing or septic work, give them a call. My septic lines have been reinstalled to bigger pipes, and now I can Airbnb out my tiny house with a regular flush toilet. I do intend on putting that composting toilet back into my tiny house because that's the way I want to live, but I can see the benefits of having a regular flush toilet for 30 plus Airbnb guests per month and then some. This is just another part of my journey. I did not expect to have this happen. I did not expect to waste the first part of it and never to have used that, but this was how the plan went. I just decided to put my house up on Airbnb soon, but I will probably be making the money back in no time, so it was a good investment to do this for the comfort of my guests. I hope you guys are enjoying my journey. If you did, please give this video a big thumbs up. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button below and click the notifications bell so you can receive a notification every time I post a new video, which is every Sunday. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. I will leave there. Don't put that. And when I go to get my septic tank out, don't put that. Don't put that. And I learned a lot in the meantime. Don't put that. Pipes going from the tiny house, don't put that. Going from the big house to the septic. So, don't put that. I'm going to be leaving their, don't put that. I'm going to be leaving their information in the comments. Don't put that either. I don't know what don't put that. And then the cost for the additional pipes, don't put that. This team had thought that they could put a bigger size water heater, don't put that.